Welcome to class where we're going to look at an important concept or element, which is elasticity, one of the most important concepts in economics because it measures responsiveness. It measures how one variable changes when another variable changes. So elasticity measures the responsiveness or the degree to which the consumer will respond to changes in prices, changes in income, changes in the prices of other goods. So this response is very important in categorical terms for managers to understand. So in simple terms, when talking about elasticity, we're looking at how sensitive consumers are to price. So this is called on-price elasticity. Also, how the rise in income will affect the demand of certain goods. And this income effect will bring about what we call elasticity of income elasticity of demand. Also, how the change of one price will affect the demand of another. So this is cross-price elasticity. So this is on-price elasticity changes to its own price. Income elasticity changes in income. Then also we look at how the prices or the price changes is in another commodity will affect our demand for this particular commodity. This is what we call cross price elasticity. So understanding elasticity will help businesses, it will help consumers, it will help our governments make better decisions about pricing, about taxation, even about income. All right. So we have three types of elasticity that we're going to talk about for the purposes of our exam. So we have what we call price elasticity of demand. We also have what we call income elasticity of demand. We also have what we call gross price elasticity. So when we're talking about elasticity, it is a percent change in quantity or a percentage change in the factor affecting it. And we looked at different factors affecting demand. So what are the factors that affect demand? So we talked about factors like what? Price itself of good X. So this is what makes on price elasticity of demand. The price of a related good. This is what cause cross-price elasticity. The income, this is what causes income elasticity. Advertising is what we call advertising elasticity. Population is what we call population elasticity, but these ones are not what we are concerned about for today. We're concerned about these three. So now, price elasticity of demand measures how the quantity demanded changes when the price of the same good changes. So we understand that elasticity of demand is always negative because of the law that stipulates that for any good, an increase in price will cause a decrease in quantity demanded. So price elasticity of demand is always negative. You can't get a positive answer for price elasticity of demand. So price elasticity of demand can be calculated using what we call an inverse demand function. So price elasticity of demand here can be given by 1 over B times price over quantity. And price elasticity of demand, we know ranges from 0 to 1 to more than 1. So any number between 0 and -1 is inelastic. Any number exactly at 1 is unit elastic. And more than 1 is elastic. Can be at -2, can be at -100, as long as it is above 1. So this is elastic. Are we together so far? Any questions so far? Are we together? Any questions? All right. If that is clear, we now go to um, other calculations. So elasticity can also be by a direct demand function. So this direct demand function looks like this. So quantity is equal to what? A minus BP. So this is a direct demand function, which is simply given by elasticity of demand is equal to what? B times price over quantity. So this is a direct demand function, the simplest formula you can use. So ideally, you just need to understand that elasticity of demand, they will question you to understand what is called the point elasticity of demand and the arc elasticity of demand. So if you're given a function like Q is equal to 10 minus 2p, and you're given that your P is 3 quarter. So when you put a 3 quarter on the P there, what becomes your Q? Your Q automatically becomes, when you put a 3 there, that is 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 units. All right. So meaning this will help you come up with a quantity with your B. Your B is simply the number or the slope before the price here. So your B there will be -2. So the point elasticity of demand here, therefore, using the direct demand function there, will be elasticity of demand is equal to B. B is equal to what? -2 times price. The price is what? 3. And the quantity is what? 4. So here we're going to have -1.5. And our comment in terms of elasticity is that demand is elastic because this is more than 1. So we discussed last time to say if your A is -1, your B is -1.1, and your C is -0.1. Which one is elastic? B, because it's more than 1. Which one is unit elastic? Your A, because it's exactly 1. Which one is inelastic? Your C, because it starts with 0 point something. We also mentioned to say that elasticity can also come in terms of the direct demand function. P is equal to 10 minus 3Q. And suppose they've given us our Q here as 1. What becomes your P? You just substitute the 1 there. So that is 10 minus 3, which is 7. Then your B, you're able to calculate just the number before the letter. So our B in this case will be what? -3. So this is an inverse demand function. So the point elasticity of demand at this point is simply 1 over B times price over quantity. And formulas put -B, but there's no need for putting -B here because already our gradient is always negative. So 1 over -3 times price over quantity. Price is what? 7. Quantity is 1. So here we're going to get -3 point what? -2.33. So elasticity is elastic. Okay, this is what we're discussing. Before I get to the tough part of it, I'm just trying to accommodate the beginners. Are we together so far? Lushomo, are we together? Okay. Mr. Gift, we're together, right? So I want us to reach a point where you're in. Okay. So There comes a point
Yeah,
when,
we agree with Mr. Collins.
all right, okay. There's also elasticity that we have that is called point elasticity of demand and arc price elasticity of demand. All right. So we've talked about the points or the descriptions that are important in elasticity. These 3 points are very important. Number one, we say that an elasticity is more than one, it is elastic demand. When demand is elastic, it means that the quantity changes by a greater percentage than price. So consumers here are very responsive. For instance, if you increase your price by 10%, your price goes up by 10%, meaning your quantity will go down by 20%. This means it is elastic, meaning the impact you're making is greater on the other side. When it's unitary elastic, it means the quantity demanded changes in the same percentage, so meaning the total revenue remains unchanged. So if you increase by 10%, your quantity loss will be 10% as well, 50-50. So this means it is what? Unit elastic. When it is inelastic, it means the quantity demanded changes by a smaller percentage than price. So if you increase by 10%, maybe you're going to lose only by 5%. This is inelastic. If your elasticity of demand is zero, it's perfectly inelastic, meaning the quantity demanded does not change at all. So perfectly inelastic, the curve looks something like this. Perfectly elastic, the demand curve looks straight there. It is infinite. It means any tiny change in prices will cause demand to drop to zero drastically, infinitely. All right. So you must understand the implications of those changes. So now we should know the determinants of demand by now. The determinants of demand include what? What factors affect demand? So the determinants of demand include the availability of substitutes. So if there are more substitutes available, the demand, elasticity is higher. So for instance, if you're dealing with scones and vitumbua, so you don't change prices anyhow because people will switch anyhow. That is called substitution effect. The nature of the good also determines demand. So necessities like salt, bread, they're inelastic. People will buy, they can't do without. Luxuries like perfume, restaurant meals are elastic. People can switch. Also, the portion of income spent. So goods that take up larger share of income, like cars, are more elastic. Time period as well. Time period is more elastic. So a long run, people become inelastic. In the short run, it is inelastic. For instance, I gave an example of load shedding. So the solar alternatives were fewer. People were just going for the hybrid inverters, etc. So it is inelastic in the short run, because you have no choice. In the long run, it becomes elastic because there are a lot of substitutes. Also, the definition of the market. So if the market is broadly defined by goods, it is inelastic because you can switch. If it has a narrow definition, it is elastic. The addictiveness of the good. So addictive goods like cigarettes are inelastic. When you say inelastic, you have no option. You buy. The durability also will matter. So it tends to have elastic demand when consumers can delay purchases. All right. So why is elasticity of demand important? Elasticity of demand is very important for many reasons. For businesses, it is important for decision making. So firms will decide whether to raise or lower prices by understanding the elasticity. The government taxation policy, government tax goods with inelastic demand. For instance, fuel and alcohol. That's where most of the taxes come in. Okay. So labor and wage negotiation. So employers will consider elasticity of demand for labor. So they will uh, look at elasticity for them to determine the wages. International trade also, it helps you analyze export competitiveness. Public utilities, it's used when we are pricing water, pricing electricity, and transport services. So demand elasticity is applicable in these aspects. So there's also an important component of elasticity, which is called arc price elasticity. And for exams, usually likes this when the price goes from one good to another, what becomes the quantity, what becomes the elasticity. So arc price elasticity, it measures the average elasticity between 2 points on a demand curve. So it is used when the change in price is not infinite, infinitely small. So it's given by um, Q2 minus Q1 over Q2 plus Q1 divided by 2 there. Or you can leave the 2 throughout, okay, because the 2 counts. Remember somebody asked me a question in my inbox. So it's Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q2 plus Q1 over P2 minus P1 divided by P2 plus P1. So this is elasticity of demand. So in this case, if the price is 10 kwacha, P1 is 10 kwacha, okay, it falls to P2, which is 8 kwacha, causing a decline in quantity demanded from 100 units to 140 units. So meaning if the price reduces from 10 to 8 kwacha, meaning people demand more goods from 100 units to 140 units. What is the arc price elasticity of demand? So using this formula here, Q2 minus Q1, so 140 minus 100 over 140 plus 100 divided by P2 minus P1, so 8 minus 10 over 8 plus 10. So over 2, it's the average. They'll cancel out, so you can leave it as it is there. So when you divide that, you're going to get negative 1.5. So negative 1.5 is simply means that the elasticity is what? What is the comment there? Demand is what?
It's elastic.
Elastic, yes. It's greater than 1. So when demand is very responsive to price. So what is the significance of arc price elasticity? It's very useful in estimating the average responsiveness. It helps us avoid the confusion from direction of change, that is increase or decrease. And it's also helpful for decision forecasting when prices are large, so to give you a range. Okay? Then we've talked about point elasticity of demand, which we calculated at a particular point. You want to calculate the price. So if you're given Q minus 50p when price is 10, so when you put here 10 there, what is our Q? Our Q becomes what? 10 times 2, which is what? 20. So 30 minus 20, 50 minus 20 is 30. So elasticity of demand is equal to, this is the QDP, is the same as the B there. So don't get confused. So elasticity of demand is equal to B times price over quantity. So our B there is negative 2. Our price is 10. Our quantity we calculate as 30. So we get negative 0.67. So here demand is inelastic at that price level. This is point elasticity of demand at a particular price level. So that is it. So what is the relationship between arc price elasticity and point elasticity of demand? What is the relationship between arc price elasticity and point elasticity of demand? Are they different? What is the similarity and what is the difference? Okay. So when you're dealing with arc price elasticity, we must understand that it measures elasticity between 2 points, whereas point elasticity, it measures at a particular point, a specific point in time. In terms of the change type, it's finitely large. Then this one is infinitely small for point elasticity. Then data points needed here, we need 2 points for arc. We only need 1 for the other. And the usage is practical in application for arc price for point, it's just for theoretical analysis. Then we go to income elasticity. Remember, income is one of the factors that affect elasticity. So income elasticity is important because it measures the responsiveness of demand due to changes in income. So it is given by percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in income. So the types of elasticity that we're going to have are two for income. We can have a positive and we can have what? A negative. So if you get a negative, it means that automatically that is an inferior good. An inferior good is a good you demand less of as income goes up. Then if you get a positive, it's called a normal good. A normal good. But between 1 and 0, it's called a necessity. Necessity. More than 1, it's called a luxury. So normal goods are positive elasticity because as demand rises, income will rise. Inferior goods are negative because as demand falls, income rises. Then luxury goods, we demand more of them proportionally with income. So that is one thing you need to know. So any negative, it means their elasticity is positive. So sometimes you'll be given an instance where quantity demanded increases, for instance, from income increases from 2,000 to 2,500, causing a demand to increase from 100 units to 130 units. What is the income elasticity of demand? So income elasticity of demand, we say it is simply what? Change in quantity over quantity divided by change in income over income. So change in quantity here. So here we have what? Income increasing. So income 1 and income 2. Quantity 1 and what? Quantity 2. So change in quantity. So 130 minus 100 is 30. Okay? Over quantity 1, which is 100, divided by 2,500 minus 2,000, that is 500, over the initial income 2,000. So this is what we have here. So 0.3 over 0.25, we get 1.2. So this is a normal good, but a luxury good. Are we together? So the importance of income elasticity, it is used for business planning. It helps firms predict how much demand will increase with national income. It also helps in product classification, identifying whether it's a necessity or a luxury. In terms of policy decisions, government will use income elasticity to forecast revenue during economic cycles. So for investment decisions, most investors will prefer goods with a stable income elasticity during recessions. So for marketing strategies, it will help targeting high or low income consumers. So this is about income elasticity. We also have what we call cross-price elasticity of demand. Cross-price elasticity of demand is another important type of elasticity, which helps us understand clearly how the responsiveness of demand for one good change with the price of another. It's percentage change in good X over percentage change in good Y. So cross-price elasticity usually denoted XY. So if we get a positive cross-price elasticity, it means these are substitutes, like Pepsi and Cola. If you get a negative, these are complements, like car and petrol. If it is 0, it means these are unrelated goods, like shoes and bread. There's no relationship whatsoever. So to combine these, sometimes you're given a multilinear demand equation. So 10 minus, so this is good X, minus 2px minus 3py. Okay, plus what? 10 income I. So you can tell already from looking here that these are complementing goods because they have the same signs. So here, suppose we're given the price of good X is 1 kwacha. The price of good Y is 2 kwacha. The income is 5 kwacha. So what is our elasticity of demand? Cross price elasticity. The first thing you need to find the quantity demanded there by substituting everything in there. So we have 10 minus 2p, where there's px we put 1. Okay, minus 3py, where there's py we put what? 2. All right, plus 10i, where there's I we put what? 5. We're just substituting, these are given initially. So we're going to have 10 minus 2, 8. 8 minus 6, 2. Then 2 plus 50 is 52. So quantity of good X is 52. Then they ask you what is the on price elasticity of demand. Put X on X. We put X on X, we simply get the gradient for good X times the actual price for good X over the quantity demanded. So this is called on price elasticity, X on X. So the gradients we have there are simply the numbers before the letters. For good X, the gradient is what? Minus 2. So gradient for good X is what? Minus 2. Gradient for good Y is what? Minus 3. Gradient for income is what? Plus 10. So just use the respective gradients to calculate. So elasticity of good X and Y, this is cross price elasticity, which is simply the gradient for good Y times the price of good Y times the quantity of good X. The income elasticity is simply the gradient for income, BI, over the income itself, over quantity demanded for good X. So the key thing here is elasticity of demand. If you're going to get negative 0 point something, it is inelastic. Cross price elasticity, if you get a negative, it's a complement. Positive, a substitute. Income elasticity, a negative is a what? Inferior good. Positive is a what? Normal good. But on the positive, if it's more than 1, it's a luxury. So those are the computations you need to understand. So here the gradient is what? Minus 2, and the actual price there is 1 quarter over what? 52. So this is 2 over 52. What do we get? We calculate that, and we get 2 divided by 52. We get negative 0 0.03. Negative 0 0.03. What's your comment? 38. This is, what type of elasticity of demand is this? It is inelastic, right? And here we have 6 divided by 52. We're getting negative 0.11. What type of elasticity is this? For cross price elasticity, means a
It's
good,
elastic as well.
it's a what? What type of good is this?
It's inelastic.
It's inelastic, but for cross price elasticity, what is our comment? If it's a negative, it's a complement, right? And here, 25 over what? 52. So 50 over 52, we're getting 0.96. It's a positive. What type of a good is this? It's a normal good. Specifically, it's a necessity. All right. So this is basically what this exam question is trying to take us to. So we're given that Karibu produces a brand of snacks called creamy biscuits. Then this is the demand function here. And we're given our supply function there. So we're asked what type of a good is a apple coke and find the equilibrium. So in this case, to understand this, we need to substitute the given variables. Okay, so firstly, we've been given the variables there. Okay, to determine the type of good, we look at the coefficient. Okay, so clearly, let me just bring it clearly here. Can somebody help us understand? Okay, we are done with the class. This will be a homework, but I just want to cruise it through. So demand is here and quantity supplied is there. So what type of a good is this? Is apple coffee. So if you look at the coefficient in the demand equation, it has a positive, okay, 4, indicating that the price of apple pie, as the price of apple pie um, cookie increases, the demand for the blue um, biscuits also increases. So apple pie cookie is simply a substitute good for um, creamy biscuits. Okay, you're able to tell there that this is a what? This is a substitute code. All right. So the signs here, you're able to tell here that these are different signs. Here is negative and here it's what? Positive. So as one price increases, the other one reduces. So you're able to tell that these are substitute goods. All right. Are we together? So what is equilibrium? How do we calculate the equilibrium? So since we've been given the demand function, which is 100 minus 2p, and the 3i, where there's I equal 25, plus 4pa, where there's a equal 5, okay, minus 100, that is, when we substitute this, we're going to find our demand function, we define it. Okay, so our demand function is simply going to be QD is equal to 195 minus 2p. Then for the supply, where there's a W, we put 8.6. So this can be written as our quantity supplied will therefore be equal to 82.8 plus 5p. So at equilibrium, demand is equal to supply, you equate these two. So you solve for equilibrium. So when you calculate properly, your price is equal to 23.17. That is your equilibrium price, 23.17. And equilibrium quantity, you need to solve these ones and you give me the solutions. Right? We did this question in the other group, but basically what we're learning there is how to come up with the demand functions. So when you do your computations properly, you find your equilibrium to be as such. Our equilibrium price will be 23.17.